So now we're going to start thinking about making decisions, and an if statement is a good way for a computer to make a decision. So I'm putting in at the moment an if statement to the program. Now this is a program we've been working on in the previous videos. So if n1, we're going to check if the value of n1 is equal to 15. So if n1, now to check if a value is equal to something, it's slightly unusual, we use two equal sign, because one equal sign means set the value of the thing on the left to be equal to the thing on the right. In this case, with an equals, we check to see if n1 is equals to 15. In fact, a friend of mine once said, if you check if 15 is equal to n1 like that, that's a safer way to do it, because if you end up just putting one equal sign in, then that doesn't make any sense, and the computer will complain. So if 15 is equal to n1, or if n1 is equal to 15, then it's going to print this message to say n1 has the value 15. So I'm just going to copy the code, and paste it here. Wow. So we start off with the value of n1 as 15. We print out the value. We check to see if it's 15. And then we print that message to the screen. So we're expecting to print the message 15. However, here we're increasing n1 by 1. And so this shouldn't print out to the screen again. We'll only get one message. So let's try that. So we get a printout here of the initial values, printout here of the final values, and we're getting one printout of n value 15. Now, from the screen output, we don't know if it's this one or the other one that's actually printed, but what we could do what we can do is add an else. So sometimes what you want to do is say, if something is equal to something, then do something. Now, this is a sort of if-else thing. Oops. So now, what this has gone in is something to say. So if n1 is equal to 15, it'll print n1 has a value of 15. Else means, well, okay, if that didn't work out, else we do something else. And so n1 does not have a value of 15. So now let's run this again. Okay, so our first statement gives us a message n1 has a value of 15. And then the next message after we've increased n1 says n1 does not have. So what happens here is it does this logical test. It is not true, so it ignores this, and then it gets here, and this is true, and so it prints that message. Okay, so that's a way of making decisions to check if things are equal to each other. Now, there are many other ways of making decisions. So, for example, here, we could change this. I don't think it would be a good idea to do that. But that finishes that statement. We could say if n1 is exclamation mark equals means not equals to 15. So 15 is not equal to n1. So if we run that again, it should do the same thing again. Yes, n1 does not have a value 15. And just to check if we take out this statement to change the value of n1, so it stays at 15, we have two messages now saying that the value is 15. Okay? So this is a really important thing in running a computer program, to be able to make a decision depending on the value of something that you're calculating or working with. So so there are some many other different sort of ways to do this, and so another thing is, or another sort of test. Let's leave that as equals. Just put a note here about other tests. We can have a less than, we can have a greater than, we can have less than or equal to, we can have greater than or equal to, and with that, with the equals and the not equals to, we have pretty much all the different relationships. You can nest things as well, but in loops, so we can say if 15 equals to n1, if n1 is equal to 15, and if we want and, we'd use two ampersands, and we could say and 270 is equal to n4. So that will do a logical test now to see if n1 is equal to 15 and 270 is equal to n4. We could also check, say, to see if n1 is less than 100. And then let's put that in there. Well, let's just leave this here, and we'll put some brackets for this. And let's say printf condition both true. So when we do and with two ampersand signs here, then both of these things have to be true for this to work. So okay, I've messed up something. I forgot the F. Okay, now that didn't work. Now, it didn't work because I took out this. Yeah, let's put this back in. Now the conditions are both true. This is a new message which has come up, because n4 is equal to 270 and n1 is less than 100. So there's one more thing I want to do here. Just going back to else, we can also have an else if. Let's have an else if 16 is equal to n1. And then have another else so here we'll say n1 is 16. Here n1 is not 15 or 16. Okay, so now what we've done here is we've got an else statement, which an if statement says if this is true, else if this is true, then we do that thing, else if neither of those are true, we do that. So we only get to this second else if this one is not true. So let's just run that. n1 has four values 15, n1 is 16, and then we get print out, because this, by the time we've got to here, n1 is 16. Okay, so that's just a quick outline of how if an if statement works, and a little bit about how to put logical things in. There's one more thing to say. This is an and. Both of these things have to be true. There's another thing we can use, which is two vertical lines. Now, for me on my keyboard, we get a vertical line by using Shift and the key next to Z. But two vertical lines mean or. We can put a note in about that here. Two ands equals and. Two lines equals or. And so let's say, we can say now at least one condition is true. So n1 equals 100, n1 is not going to equal 100 there, but 270 should be equal to 4. And so that should work now, even though only one of those is true. Let's try that. Okay, here we go. At least one condition is both true. Didn't say both there. At least one condition is true. Okay,